Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another photography related video. This video will be part one in a series of my journey into film photography, or perhaps I should say my return to film photography. You see, I've been shooting digital since about 1999, but I grew up shooting with film cameras. My family, I can remember, had a Kodak point and shoot camera when I was growing up. And now I'm the keeper of the family photo albums, and we have several albums full of photos taken with this camera. But we also have a lot of photos in the album that were taken with disposable 35mm cameras. Now these started becoming very popular in the 1980s and the 1990s. These were essentially single-use film cameras that you just took to the drugstore and had the film developed once you were done shooting with it. They were cheap. They got the job done, and they were super easy to use. Back then, I really didn't think about photography as something that you would do for fun or as a hobby. You took pictures if it was your job, if you were some kind of a reporter, or you took pictures if you were on vacation or at an event, like a wedding. So for those 2 or 3 times a year that you needed to take pictures, those disposable cameras worked out great. I really don't think it was until about 1992 that I bought my first real camera on my own. I had just gotten married and was on my honeymoon in the Virgin Islands. I was just 22 years old. Now I knew I wanted to get some incredible pictures from the Virgin Islands, and we didn't have a camera. So, with a pocket full of wedding gift money, I headed into a camera shop and told the sales guy what I was looking for. And he sold me what was, at the time, a fairly high-end camera, the Olympus IS-1000. It retailed for $600, or about $1,400 in today's dollars. Pretty expensive, but I think I got a pretty good deal being in the Virgin Islands. Now, that camera was far more capable than the young kid who bought it. When I used it, I don't think it ever really came out of auto mode. But I did get some great pictures with it, really enjoyed using it. Now, I ended up getting divorced in 1998, and the ex got custody of the IS-1000. But about a year later, I can remember a sales contest at work where you got points that you could redeem for products that were in a catalog. And I did pretty darn well in the contest. I remember getting enough points to order one of the nicest cameras that was in the catalog. Now, I don't actually remember what kind of camera it was. It could be packed away somewhere here in the house, or I might have sold it on eBay to buy something else. I don't really remember. I want to say it was either a Minolta or an Olympus 35mm camera, and I'm pretty sure it took interchangeable lenses. It would have come, I believe, with a kit lens, which I'm guessing was something like an 18-55. I only shot with it for about a year because by 2000 I was all in on digital. But I did get some really great shots with it. Now, even though I shot with film cameras until I was about 30 years old, I really feel like I never learned how to use one before I made the jump to digital. Now, fast forward 25 years, and digital photography has become a huge part of my life. I feel like I'm a pretty competent photographer. Most of the time, I'm shooting in manual mode when I use my camera. But I always have had the lingering feeling that because I didn't grow up really shooting film, maybe I don't know as much about photography as I think I do. Now, a couple of years ago, I started buying some vintage cameras because they made really nice props in some of the product and watch photography that I was doing. Now, as a Canon photographer, I really wanted to get a Canon AE-1 because of their legendary history in film photography, and I picked up this example from a reputable source, and it was advertised as being in working condition. The AE-1 was manufactured between 1976 and 1984. Now, body only, it had a retail price of about $300, but it was commonly sold with the Canon FD 50mm f1.8 for $400. Now today, it's not too hard to find a working Canon AE-1 for about $100, and a Canon FD 50mm f1.8 for $50 or less. So it wasn't too hard to find one and pick it up with the lens. Now, besides the camera and the lens, I had to purchase a new 4LR44 alkaline battery and had to get it installed. And I purchased a roll of Kodak Gold 200, which I researched as being a good beginner 35mm stock due to the outstanding quality and the price, and I had to get that installed into the camera. And I also picked up an app for my iPhone called My Light Meter Pro, which tells me the proper shutter speed and f-stop for correct exposure when shooting with a film camera. Now I'm going to load my camera with this roll of Kodak Gold 200 and go out and do some shooting. And in part 2, we're going to take a look at the photos that I get, and assuming that all goes well, I'm really excited about part 3, which will be a 3-way comparison of the Canon AE1 with a Canon FD 35mm f2, a Fujifilm X100VI with its fixed 35mm f2 lens, and a Canon R5 Mark II, and I'll probably use an EF 35mm f1.4. I think it'll be really interesting to take some photos with all 3 of these cameras of the same object from the same distance and in the same conditions and compare the results. Well, there you have it, folks. There's part 1 of my journey into film photography, or again, my journey back to film photography. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, God bless. We'll see you in the next one.
I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.